Hey foodies, welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you another 3-course meal dinner recipe. This one is perfect for Mother's Day, so let's get started. Alright guys, today we'll be preparing a pumpkin crab bisque soup. Here I added some onions, garlic, bell peppers, and a little bit of herbs. I will list everything that I use in my description box. Give that a stir and allow it to go for about 2 to 3 minutes or so. Then I'll come in with some flour. Just toss that around a little bit so we can cook away that raw taste. Then we'll follow up with our pumpkin. You want to give that a toss as well. And then we'll follow up with our liquids. So today I'll be using seafood stock. You can use vegetable stock or chicken broth if you like. I will add some seasoning for flavor and taste. You can taste and adjust the seasoning to your own liking. We will cover this and allow it to simmer on medium-low heat until the pumpkin is nice and tender and the soup has thickened. Now that the pumpkin is tender, I will go in with my immersion blender and I will blend it to a nice smooth consistency. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can use a regular blender. You will just have to remove it from the stove, blend it, and return it back. So once I was done, this is how the soup is looking. Absolutely perfect. Now we will add our crab meat in here, give it a good mix, and the last thing we will add is some heavy whipping cream. Once you add your cream, you want to turn your heat off, and yeah, that's basically it. The soup is quick and easy and it's absolutely delicious. And once you add that cream, the soup will thin out a bit, but once it cools down, it will thicken back up. So don't worry. We will now remove it, like I said, and proceed to our next dish, which is our side. Next up, we have some creamed spinach. What I like to do is wilt my spinach to get rid of all the moisture, because as you know, spinach is very watery and we don't want that moisture in our nice delicious Parmesan sauce. So we will just wilt these down. You know, you want to add it to a pot, cover it, allow it to wilt, and you will continue doing that until all the spinach is wilted. Like I said, we will get rid of that liquid there. And now we will make our sauce. So to a skillet I added oil and butter, and then in go some garlic and onions. Allow those to saute down for about 2 to 3 minutes or so. And then we'll follow up with a little bit of flour. You want to cook away that raw taste from the flour for about a few seconds or so, and then in with some heavy cream. We will give that a stir and then we will season it up to suit our own liking. Like I said, I will leave all my measurements and ingredients in the description box. After that is mixed in, we'll allow it to thicken and then come in with some Parmesan cheese. Once the cheese is added, you want to give it a stir, let it thicken. It would take no longer than a few seconds or so. Once it thickens, this is exactly how you want the sauce, because once you add the spinach, it will thin out a bit. So we will add the spinach in now, give it a good toss, and that's it. Super quick and easy, guys. These recipes are simple and they're absolutely delicious. So now let's move on to our next side. Next up, we have some mashed potatoes. I added some garlic and then in with some salt. I added a little too much salt there. What I did was drain my potatoes once they were done and rinse them. Once you rinse them, some of the salt will be removed. Cover and allow it to boil until tender. Then I return it back to the stove with some butter, Parmesan cheese. You want to mash that while it's hot so that the cheese and the butter can melt. Once, you know, everything is nicely mashed and it's smooth, then we will come in with some heavy cream and some seasoning. You want to season to your own liking. I didn't have to add much seasoning here because I heavily salt the potatoes, but once I added the cream, it diluted everything. I also went in with some milk after that, some whole milk, because I like my potatoes nice and creamy and to a soft texture then. So you can add milk to suit the texture that you prefer. So once that was added and my potatoes was to my desired texture, I added a little bit of parsley for garnish, and that was it. I just placed this into my serving dish and move on to our entree. Next up, I have 2 ribeye steaks here, which I washed and pat dry, and I'll be using some seasoned salt, paprika, garlic and onion powder, and black pepper. Super simple. We're gonna mix all that to combine, and then I will add a bit of oil so the seasonings can adhere, and we will coat the steaks very well with those seasoning, cover and allow it to just sit and marinate for about 30 minutes or so. Here I will season some shrimp as well using some black pepper, Old Bay, garlic powder, and yeah, that's it. Super simple. So I decided to cook my shrimp first. So to a skillet with oil, I added the shrimp, and you're gonna just cook these for about a minute, minute and a half per side. Super simple. Lastly, we're going to add a little bit of butter, like a tablespoon or so, into the skillet. Give it a toss, and that's it. We'll remove the shrimp, set aside, and proceed to cooking our steak. Like I said, to a skillet with oil, we will add that steak and allow it to cook for about 3 minutes per side. I like my steak to be medium, but if you like yours well done, go ahead and cook it for about 5 minutes per side. Once the steak was almost done, I added some butter, some garlic and thyme, and I just tossed the steak around in that delicious buttery flavorfulness for about a minute or so. And yeah, I removed the steak, set aside, and allow it to rest before slicing into it. Now let's prepare a delicious coconut bread pudding. To a bowl, I added eggs and vanilla. You want to whisk that up real well, and then we will come in with some coconut milk, evaporated milk. We will add some sweetened condensed milk. Now you want to reserve 1/3 of a cup of the sweetened condensed milk, and we will use that for the top once it is done. So after that, you want to add a little bit of butter. Like I said, I will leave all the measurements in my description box. And you want to add some sugar as well. We will come in with some coconut flakes. Give that a good stir. Make sure it's mixed in really well, because condensed milk can take a while to mix in. So you want to make sure that's well combined. And then we will add our bread. Today I'm using potato bread. And yeah, just make sure that that is soaked well. Once it soaks properly, you want to let it sit for about 15 minutes just to make sure that all that delicious goodness is soaked into that bread. Let it sit, and once we are done, we will grease a baking dish and we will place it into our baking dish. And then we will preheat our oven to 350 and allow this to cook for about 45 minutes to an hour. Once the middle of the pudding is no longer wet and sticky, that's how you know it's all done. We will go over the top with some coconut flakes and yeah, place it into the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. After about an hour, it is done, and what I'm pouring over the top is condensed milk and coconut milk. I mix the two and we're gonna pour it over the top while it's hot. It's gonna soak in to that bread and be extra yummy. You want to allow this to cool down completely. Let this cool for a good couple of hours before slicing into it, guys. You want to let it sit and set properly before slicing into it. So here you have it, the appetizer, which is our pumpkin crab bisque soup. It was so mouth-watering and delicious, a beautiful start. And then we'll follow that up with this amazing entree, shrimp steak with mashed potatoes and creamed spinach. It was perfectly cooked. And lastly, we have our bread pudding. If you're a coconut lover, you would definitely enjoy this. Trust me, it was so delicious. The perfect amount of sweetness and the coconut flavor in there was just divine. And the texture, look at that. Amazing. So give the recipe a try for me and let me know what you guys think. I will be leaving all the ingredients and measurements down in my description box. And I will see you guys in my next one. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. And as always, enjoy. And happy Mother's Day in advance.